And we're live for another episode of the Blue Crocus Experience. I'm your host, Vandervalk, and I'm joined today by captainstriper, Mark Estrada himself. We're going to dive into some exciting stuff about kombucha, line striping, music, business, life. It's going to get fun. I'm going to do a quick countdown here so we can share it out to different social media platforms, and then we'll dive in and hear Mark's story. Mark, I'm really happy to have you on here. Really excited to dive into this.
Thank you for having me on, Lewis. It's been a long time coming.
It's been good. All right, let's dive over to the socials and we'll be right back. And we're back. We're live. Everybody got the sharing out that they needed. Mark, excited to have you. Like I said, this has been cool. I think we were chatting off air, and I think we've been connected for about a year now. And we've interacted briefly over Messenger. You've interacted on some of my posts, and likewise, you've given me some great music suggestions. All of that. But I'd like to dive into who Mark is, get to know you a little bit better, and learn more of your story. So if you want to bring people up to speed on who you are, what you do, where you're from, we can dive right into it.
Well, first off, thank you for having me on, Lewis. Like I said, it's been a long time coming. We've been networking for a little bit, so I get very excited whenever I can talk to like-minded people. My name is Mark Estrada. I'm VP and co-owner of Marathan Solutions Group. We are we've been in the paving industry for about 15 years. We come from the school of the hard knocks, and man, we love what we do. We've been building a brand all those 15 years and trying to evolve this game, Lewis. That's really what we're trying to do.
That's awesome. And you're located in Houston, correct?
Yes, Houston, Texas.
How is everything settling out with all the snow and craziness that you guys had recently?
Oh, it's great. The rebound, that's what Texans are all about, getting back up and doing it all over again, learning from the mistakes. But it was what it was, whenever I explain to people up north, I'm like, it's like if a hurricane hit Milwaukee, it's just the infrastructure just wasn't ready,
Yeah.
But however, we're all good down here. We're all good, It's we just got word that Matthew McConaughey might be our next governor coming up. So man, we're stoked, bro.
All right. Yeah. So are you?
All right.
Exactly. Are you Houston born and raised?
Houston born and raised. I have two beautiful kids, happily married. 9 and 5, Austin and Cameron. They are my hearts. They are my meaning. They are my life. It took me a little bit to figure out, that I wanted to be a daddy, but I'll tell you what, it's something that I wouldn't trade for the world. It's become a passion, Yeah. I used to be in love with striping and paving, I'm a pavement marking aficionado, man. I'm an enthusiast.
Yeah.
Now I'm a daddy enthusiast. I get excited about daddy things. I get excited about Legos. I get excited about, showing them hiking trails and mountain biking and, being the true self that they need to be.
That's so cool. We have our oldest is just about 2. Everett is our oldest, and Azalea is our youngest. She's 3 months old. So
you just started.
We just
started, my brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's exciting, Lewis. It's exciting. Right now this is the time to have the moments, because, buddy, it's just the baby stage, the kid stage. You don't get that. You don't get it too long. It's in and it's out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even with Everett, like with Zaylee, like it's like, oh man, like we remember those moments with Everett, and it's just like it seems like so long ago, right? And it seems like so long ago.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's a sign, it's a sign that you're having fun,
We love it.
it's a sign you're having fun because time passes by so quickly when you're enjoying what you do.
We love it. Yeah, and it's been, I mean, mindset is something that you and I are both passionate about, and it's been a big mindset shift for me, because I'm very much like driven to support the family, to grow the business, etc. But Alyssa keeps me in check. My wife keeps me in check, and she's like, "Babe, you gotta enjoy these moments here, because otherwise you're always gonna be chasing the next milestone, and then the kids are gonna move out, and it's gonna be like, wow, we just missed all those moments with them." So she's really good at grounding me, and working on habits to leave the phone in the office when I go home at night. I'm just in the basement here in the office, but little things like that to be able to be more focused. It's a growing thing for me, but I love it, and it's learning business and learning fatherhood and husbandhood and all of that all at once. It's just been this massive journey of growth.
And that's what it takes, man. That's what it takes. It takes a partner. It takes a partner in life, your soulmate, to just keep you in line, to keep you right there. And she's probably accents you perfectly, and it's
Compliments.
It compliments you perfectly. It's one of those deals where it's you need that type of person. You need your opposite, and most of the time that's what your soulmate is an opposite.
Yeah.
And that way they can catch those little things that you don't catch. Yeah, I totally hear you. My wife Jackie is the same way.
That's awesome. Yeah, she definitely, I don't know who I would be. The morphing that we've come together over the last 7 years that we've known each other has been incredible. Like, I look back at the Lewis that before I met her, and it's like she's rounded out things, I've rounded out things with her, and it's been incredible to grow together. So
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I did want to segue off of you mentioned Matthew McConaughey, and I know you read Green Lights, and I did want to chat about books with you because I know you're into books. I see a few of them pop up on your feed. I loved Green Lights. I know you loved it, but what was your favorite part?
Oh, the whole book.
It's so good, right? Did you listen to the audiobook too?
I didn't do the audiobook. I'm a hit or miss the audiobook. I kind of just like just having the book with me,
Yep.
Whenever I do the audiobook, whenever I do an audiobook, I normally go back and read the book because I normally catch certain things. Yeah. But McConaughey, he hit it on the money. I really enjoyed the fact that, he expressed how he kept a journal throughout all those years and kept it to, as therapy, and wrote down just these random notes throughout the years. And that's what transpired into this book.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It is.
I was listening to a podcast of him explaining the process, and I think it was like 5 different 12-day marches into the desert where he basically sorted through his life and came to face the man that he was and is becoming. But yeah, it was so good. I listened to the audiobook. I haven't gotten the physical book, and it's read by him, so you still get that authentic experience.
Okay. Excellent.
Excellent. I'd recommend it because you get I'm gonna switch over to the physical book here eventually, but I'd recommend the audiobook for sure.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna check it out. I'll definitely check that out. It's McConaughey is something else, and he expresses how important it is to just be yourself.
Yeah.
And how you just, the moment you are, living for somebody else is the moment that you lose your true path, your true destiny.
Right.
And it's crazy how many people actually do that.
When you say living for someone else, like, kind of following their path.
Yeah, following their path. Yeah, following their path and not being yourself, not truly being yourself, and not truly just following your own heart. I believe everyone has a destiny, and it's up to you to really get the messages to follow it.
Yeah. And
he hit it on the money with that. It was very nice. And just taking the green lights, the analogy of green lights being opportunities, it was beautiful.
It was moving. I loved the chapter on his wife and his journey. I was like telling Alyssa about it as we were going through. But yeah, it would be cool to see how his political journey goes, because I know
Oh
he's always
yeah.
working, and he's switched. I mean, he switched from rom-coms to more serious stuff, and now he may be going to the political sphere. He's a very, very well-rounded person.
He's real. He's very real.
Yeah.
And that's out here in Texas, man, he's like a prophet, dude.
Yeah.
Out here in Texas, he's the man. He's the man. He's all about that Texas culture. That's really what that Texas culture is all about.
Yeah.
Just the laid backness, just knowing everything's gonna be cool, everything's gonna be okay, You just gotta be yourself. Yeah, be yourself and make it work. Exactly.
That's awesome. So,
No
so we
doubt.
have the ability to bring up comments here. And Spencer's saying, Lewis, speaking of kombucha, try and order some Vetter Booch brand. It's amazing. Awesome. Yeah. So Mark and I connected over a mutual love of kombucha. I have this is actually water in it, full disclosure, but I'm drinking it out of a kombucha bottle because I've used up my weekly quota already. But this is a lemon, lime, and mint. What are you drinking today, Mark?
Oh, I got some Pure Love, blood orange, hibiscus, and rose.
Sounds awesome.
This is some good stuff. I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? I need some pure love in this with my intentions today.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, we were so you were talking a bit about your love of kombucha and how it's replaced some of the alcohol in your life and whatnot. How long have you been drinking it?
I've been drinking for a few months now. I've been drinking since maybe about December. It hasn't been that long. Not long at all. Because the first time I tried it, I had just a horrible flavor and it completely just messed me up. And also, I didn't know that you couldn't shake kombucha. So I shook it like juice and it just exploded all over me. So
Great first impression.
It was a horrible first impression, but then I just kept on hearing just good stuff about it and the health benefits from it, and it being just an amazing just probiotic, and it was like, you know what, let's try it out, give it another run, found a good flavor. It's like, all right, this is good, this is really good.
Yeah.
So I've been on that wagon since.
There's definitely some flavors that can taste like you're drinking vinegar, and then there's some really good flavors. So if you're into vinegar, go with the unflavored ones or whatever. But yeah, no, that's awesome. I think my journey started back when I was like 13. My neighbors used to make it, and or our neighbors used to make it, and they'd bring it over occasionally, and I would have it. And I liked it at the time, and then I didn't really get back into it until university. I kind of picked it up for some of the late night study sessions. And then I made a couple batches, realized that was a lot of work, but kind of got to know it. So it's kind of become my thing now. It's my guilty pleasure. I got the quota, as I said, per week, and it usually disappears pretty early in the week. Otherwise it'd be a daily or multi-daily.
Yeah, man, it's addicting. It really is addicting, especially when you have that good flavor. It's just yes. But you know what? It's good to drink just if you have just carbonated water. I mean, I drink a lot of carbonated water too, and it doesn't give the same flavor, but it just the bubbles, the carbonation.
Yeah, I always thought carbonated water was really odd, and then I had a friend who interned at a company in Germany for the summer, and that's all they like. Carbonated water is cheaper than tap water. Or just flat water over there. So he got on the carbonated water bin, got me onto it. I don't drink a lot of it, but I kind of developed a taste when we were doing study sessions again in university. So.
Oh yeah. Out here in Texas, we have a mineral water that's called Topo Chico. Okay. It comes from these falls in Mexico. That's supposed to it's like anti-aging falls.
Right.
So exactly. So Coca-Cola bought it, not too long ago, and exactly right. So it's everywhere now. But before, it used to be just exclusively in Texas and in California and like the border states.
Right.
And man, it is very good. It is very good. You would really enjoy that if you like carbonated mineral water. That's where it is.
I'll have to see if I can snag some across the board. It's probably available.
I'll send you some if I have to, Lewis.
Oh man, that'd be sweet. I appreciate that. Awesome. Well, that kind of kind of brings together some of the stuff that we've connected over. Music was another one. stick figure has changed my life.
Dude, that's the reason why I got into kombucha. Was stick
Really?
figure. Yeah,
Really?
I'm a big follower of stick figure, and the music is just great vibes. It's very just original vibes. That Cali roots vibe is just it's very pure. And whenever I started just being a fan of stick figure, I started following a little bit, and they have their own line of kombucha. So I'm like, oh man, this has got to be good, So
awesome. Yeah, the songs I've got a whole playlist saved.
Yeah. That's nice.
Good vibes.
What's your favorite song?
Favorite song has got to be "World on Fire."
It's hard.
Yeah, "World on Fire" and then Hawaii song. I wrote them down here so I wouldn't pull a blank because I knew you'd ask. "World on Fire" and Hawaii song are my favorites.
Hawaii song. Yeah. I would have to go with "Livin'."
Livin'.
Yeah,
that's a good one too.
Yeah, living is good, and of course Hawaii song. That one just permeates so much. It's like, goodness gracious, that's what it's all about. Paradise, right? Trying to find your inner paradise.
Exactly. So whoever's listening, take a look at kombucha if you haven't before. I know some people find it a rather odd experience, moldy water, as some people have called it when I posted about it a little while ago. But it's good, and listen to some stick figure. It'll change your life, and you'll be able to relate to Mark and I on a different level. Awesome, man. Well, let's dive into some of the captainstriper stuff. What I know your journey goes back 15 years in the striping world and whatever, but let's dive into some of that. Bring us up to speed on who captainstriper is now and kind of where he started, and then we'll just dive in that way.
Well, how about this? I'll just let him talk for him. Hold up, let me go get him real quick.
All right.
Okay.
Boom.
How you doing, Lewis?
Oh man, I'm so good, captainstriper. This is awesome. So where did you originate, and how did you come about?
Oh man, it all started at about 3 a.m. on a job site with all my guys, just trying to get done with the job. Whenever you're on a restripe, you start smelling just a bunch of donuts. You start seeing the morning team come into the businesses, and you're fighting against time. So it's all about just endurance. It's all about perseverance. It's all about just being motivated to finish. And at that time, it's so hard because you've been rocking all night, just looking at lines, spraying curves, spraying fire lane, spraying handicaps. It gets very real. So when that started happening and stuff started getting crazy, I put on these glasses. I have some suspenders to go with it, and I roll around, and you know what? I start motivating, and I start telling everybody, hey man, it's time to put that butt on your shoulders and run. It's time to go. We got to get to either the next project, or man, we just need to finish this one. But we don't need to be here anymore. We're here on a mission, and we're here to make things happen. Make people happy, really, at the end of the day. So, after my guys, they were kind of bothered by it at first, but then it was like, okay, you know what? Like, captainstriper is actually doing some crazy work too, because I work right there with my guys. With my guys, we're a team. You're only strong as your weakest link. So the strongest is training the weakest. It's an ongoing deal. So you have to set the pace as a leader. If you expect the same thing to get done on a nightly basis, if you don't show your face there once in a while, or if you're not there motivating and showing your troops exactly how it needs to be, the results are going to be scattered. The results are going to be distorted. You're not going to get what you need. And as a company, it's a must. You don't want any bad jobs. And at the end of the day, you want people to have fun with what they're doing. So, this kind of started the brand. After Captain Striper came around, we started to put some LED whips on our machines. We started to, we were already working with lasers, so it kind of all went with the deal. And man, we ran with it. We started posting videos on Instagram, Facebook, social media, did its magic, and all of a sudden we had a few fans. It was like, all right, you know what? This is something cool. Maybe we should keep on doing this. So now, along with Captain Striper, now the guys have their own alter egos, their own superheroes now.
Nice.
I really, I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the fact that the guys have fun with what they do and enjoy it. And it's become not only a job, but a hobby. And, if you spread the love on something that you have a passion for so much, it's just going to permeate to everybody else, let alone the owner out there killing themselves along with the troops. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
That's amazing. I love that. And I think something that a lot of people don't know is that a lot of striping, especially on bigger jobs, gets done at night because that's when the world shuts down. That's when you can clear parking lots out, etc. How do you balance that with family life?
Oh man, that's the biggest obstacle. Lewis, quite frankly, in my 20s, my soul belonged to the company.
Yeah.
I was married to the company, man. My partner Zach Lovett, and we were just married to the company.
Uh-huh.
Our soul was buried with the company. Little do we know, in our 30s, what we planted in our 20s turned into a tree. And it turned into something beautiful where now we have about 25 guys that's working for us now. That's scattered on teams that are doing, all the work and doing all of the building, the brand building.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I'll tell you what, it took a lot for me to get off of the job site and to actually let it go. But seriously, once I saw that I needed to be there for my family and I needed to, once I started having kids, of course, it got very real. And I knew that in order for me to expand mentally for my family, I had to have my team expand mentally. And I'm so proud to say that almost every guy that was on my original team are now team leaders.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. They're all separately running their own team. It's beautiful. Seeing someone grow, seeing someone, be the person that they're just meant to be and fulfill their destiny. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. And then that's how, this man is seen. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'm fulfilling my destiny now. Maybe this is the road that I need to go on. Is expansion, is expanding people's minds, expanding people's ways of thinking and mindsets. And it's a crazy world right now because people, they get very scattered with how they think and what they're thinking about and how to run their business. And it gets very, very stressful.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes the stress and emotions kind of gets to people sometimes. It used to get to me a lot. And once you learn how to balance out those stress and emotions and start to open yourself up, then that's when the true expansion starts. And then it kind of trickles right down to your team, to everyone that's close around you, to tell you the honest truth.
Right.
It permeates. Yeah, it resonates.
It kind of repels, certain types of people and attracts certain other types of people, right?
Exactly.
So what, when you say you're grinding for, the 20s, I would imagine the first 10 or so years of the business, right around there, what did that look like? What was, what did that look like? And then how did you make the transition out? Because that's tough. Like you said, you touched on it briefly, but what happened to Mark and what were some of the struggles?
Well, the struggle was with myself. It's always with yourself. You might think that it's stuff around you, that it's things that, things obviously that you can't change, which you can change yourself. So that really when it started, it started when I knew that I had to get to the next step with my, not only my spirituality, but with my overall just well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So I started taking my health a little more serious. I started taking my view of spirituality a little more serious. I started to just be one with everything a little bit more. I never was like that in my 20s. I always had a different perception, a little bit of a different view on things. I guess you could say that my ego, I guess, kind of took a hold in my 20s, in my 30s, I kind of just subtracted it. I was just like, you know what? Why am I holding on to all this? Why am I not getting to this next step that I want to get to? And it all took just letting go and realizing and being aware that first off, you can't control everything. Failing is a blessing. Failing is just an absolute priceless lesson. Well, sometimes it gets pricey, but but it's a wonderful lesson. It's a wonderful lesson, and that you don't. If you learn from that lesson, I mean, that's what life's all about. It gets you ready for that next step. I do honestly believe if you don't fail and pick yourself back up, you honestly won't ever be able to handle true success. You have to hit that rock bottom once in a while. Well, hopefully just once.
Yeah.
But once you learn from that, oh my gosh, you are just a rebuilt machine. Mm-hmm. And honestly, whenever you rebuild yourself like that, you rebuild your consciousness. And your consciousness is really what controls everything. So once you rebuild your consciousness, you're rock solid. You're living for something.
Right.
You're living with true intentions, with true purpose.
Right.
With the distorted at its minimum. Because the distortion and the aimless thinking, that never stops. Yeah. It never stops. Laziness, it just never stops.
You gotta always come back to that central.
It always comes back. It always comes back. Being content. I mean, that is hand in hand with success. Most successful people, I mean, that's their biggest, the biggest negative thing is, it's you start getting a little more content. Mm-hmm. However, if you catch yourself and you just stir the pot, add a few more ingredients to that pot and just see what you got, and go for it. And just don't be scared to get out of your comfort zone, because seriously, once you hit the content level, that is your sign that it's time to move. Right. It's time to get to the next step.
I think Ed Milet called it blissful dissatisfaction, right? Like he's very content. He's always pushing for that next, it doesn't have to be that next crazy business thing, but that next leveling up of your mind.
Yeah. Yep. You have to.
What does when you talk about spirituality, what does that look like for you? Is it meditating, journaling?
Spirituality, to tell you the honest truth, I actually keep a journal. Mm-hmm. I keep a journal with everything now. Ever since I read the McConaughey book, I keep a journal. It could be about anything. I write everything in it, anything and everything. And that by itself has been just amazing, beautiful therapy. It's wonderful what you figure out with yourself, about yourself, especially whenever you look back on it. Right. And then all of a sudden you got yourself an autobiography.
Green light.
So green lights, right? So, I'm a strong believer in writing down everything now, really just being in touch with yourself and keeping that time for meditation for yourself, knowing when to breathe,
That's big.
Knowing honestly when to breathe, when to replenish your body with oxygen, and when to just take that little break. Ferris Bueller couldn't have said it better himself. You got to take a break or look around once in a while, or you can miss it. Life is too short.
Yeah.
You got to take a break and you got to breathe once in a while. You have to. Let me take these off. Got a little glare.
It's all good. It's all good. Captain Striper. No,
but it's very real. Very real whenever you get to that point where you just need you have to take a break. You have to go outside and take it in.
Yeah, that's huge. I appreciate you sharing that. Let's get into some striping stuff here. I want to respect your time too, but I think we've got a few minutes to chat about some striping stuff. What was, kind of your coolest job, and what was the job where it was just an absolute fiasco?
Oh man, absolute fiasco. I got a lot of those, bro. I got a lot of those, man. My coolest job, I would have to say, was whenever we first got into the business. We were taking care of distribution centers on the West Coast.
Okay.
Going from Southern California all the way into Washington. And wow. Whenever we first started, my partner, Zach Lovett, we've known each other since junior year in high school. We started with our two best friends from high school too. It was like a striping fraternity at that time.
Cool.
Where we were just rolling around striping, not making much money. We were the ones that, did the jobs free, man. But however, we were some Texas boys and never been to California. So we're like, you know what, let's go, let's do it. However, that's when we learned about high volume striping. And high volume striping, whenever I say something like that, it's normally 1,000+ stripes, along with maybe, with massive detail work, with thousands of stencils, everything that comes along with that program. Uh-huh. Those are just massive stripe jobs. Yeah. Massive stripe jobs like that it takes a formula to get done. We showed up to that job, Lewis. We were pushing stripers at that time. We had one Graco 3900. No, I'm sorry. No. Yeah, one Graco 3900, one Graco 3400, and one Erlesco.
Wow.
I don't know if you ever heard of an Erlesco, but yeah, if you haven't,
I haven't,
because it's not. Yeah. No news there on Erlesco. Nothing but bad news. Yeah. So what we did was we ended up going out there. Our asses was handed to us, man, that first year we took on those projects. And we had a great time, though. We discovered the West Coast. We traveled all through the West Coast at that time. We really found ourselves. We figured out this is what we want to do. At that time, I think I was like 22, 23 years old. And it was like, man, we're getting paid to be out here on the West Coast to paint lines.
Yeah.
Like, what? Are you serious? Like, we need to expand this baby. Like, this is turning into a passion. So the next year we realized the high the high volume aspect of these projects. And that next year we bought our first line driver. And that's when everything just changed. Whenever we got the first line driver. You see, the line driver used to be a mythological creature, Lewis. The line driver was like a unicorn, dude.
Yeah.
That was like a unicorn. That was like one of those deals. It was like, oh, we just seen it in Pavement Magazine. Yeah. And once we got that, it was like, okay, you know what? We can do these projects efficiently. We can do these projects, at ease. Riding on carts, having fun, even more fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when we just fell in love with striping. Whenever we took on those distribution projects. Now, the most crappiest job The most crappiest job. This is to everybody who's listening right now, just in case they're bidding these jobs. Truck stops.
Really?
Truck stops.
Yeah.
We had a project. It was a caravan, dude, of about, oh man, it was 40 Flying J's and pilot truck stops. Did every single one in Texas, did every single one in Oklahoma, did a few in New Mexico.
Okay.
And man, I don't wish that upon anybody. The thing is, you can't shut down the parking lot. You are working around truck drivers all day. You know, your customers expecting you to get, you know, at least like 95% of the parking lot, you know, on a live parking lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. It is hard. It's hard. It's unsafe. It smells nasty. It's just all around not a good project. Yeah. Will we take it again? Will we take it again? Possibly.
Possibly. Not going to rule it out.
Can't rule that out. Exactly. No doubt. No doubt.
Oh, that's brutal. Have you had any experiences of paint spills? Because I know it was I forget which group it was in, but someone started a thread asking for, you know, your horror stories of paint spills, and there was a guy who drove all the way up a parking building with it dripping out the back of his trailer. There were some pretty crazy stories. I don't know if you had any like that.
You know what? Thank God. Well, I'm not going to tell you, Lewis. I'm not going to tell my mess ups like that. Well, there was one time where, oh my goodness, we were getting a delivery at the shop, and it was a big delivery. It was maybe like 500 gallons or so, and the delivery driver started taking out all of the pallets, and one was lifted, you know, out of a semi. That's a high, you know, that's a high trailer, man. It's a high lift. The shrink wrap wasn't wrapped up right, and about half of those buckets just tumbled, man. We lost maybe about 15 gallons, and that makes a hell of a mess. 15 gallons makes a hell of a mess. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen more horror stories with the long liners. The long liners are the ones that have the horror stories. With the parking lot stripers, it's normally like, okay, a busted line, you know, or somebody just got a lot of overspray on something, or, you know, or you lose 5 gallons, you know, 5 gallons of paint. Yeah, you can clean that up, you know. But yeah, no monsters. We try to be safe as possible.
Yeah. I wasn't wishing it on you, but I know people like to hear those stories, and it's like, oh man.
There was one time. Well, we used to be real small, man. We had one truck that we used to call the War Wagon. It was a 2006 3500 Chevy, and it was a dually with the hips, with the fenders just completely smashed in. That was during the times where they were building the trucks with the fiberglass on the beds. Yeah. Big mistake. Big mistake for the heavy duty trucks. Yeah. And oh man, they turned onto our on-site urinals after after a little bit. This was when we were like 22, 23 years old. You know, we were just a bunch of kids doing this. And man, I'll tell you what, that truck took us everywhere. It took us everywhere. It pulled us out of anything and everything. We rode that truck all the way to like 300,000 miles.
Wow.
It was beautiful. But yeah, there was one time where we had to stack everything in the bed of the truck. I mean, we were rolling around like the Clampets, dude. And for the young ones don't know who the Clampets are, that's, you know, Beverly Hillbillies. So we turned a corner, and we had about, you know, it must have been about 30 bucket lids on the top of the truck, not secured, of course, just on the bed of the truck. And it was like leveled on top of buckets, and we're green guys, you know, So we, we throw away everything. We have we pride ourselves on that, on on disposing our waste properly.
Yeah.
So, man, we had to go somewhere. We had to get somewhere, and we just turned the corner the wrong way. It was a busy intersection, man, right during lunchtime, and 30, 40 bucket lids, metal bucket lids, scattered all over the intersection.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was crazy. Everybody was looking at us like we were nuts.
Yeah.
We're out there with our paint gear on, trying to gather these paint bucket lids, and it was crazy at the time. But man, you think back on it, you're like, oh, that was some good times. That was some great times. Yeah.
So now you guys have graduated and you're doing paving and all of that sort of stuff, right? Like you know, I was kind of taking a peek around your website, and you offer the full service package, right?
Full service, in-house. We offer everything in-house now.
Only 25 guys doing all of that?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Wow.
Oh, yeah. We're cross-trained, man. We make sure all of our guys are cross-trained.
Uh-huh.
We go through a lot of training, and it's one of those deals where, like I said, you're only strong as your weakest link.
Yep.
So the stripers, they know how to seal coat. The seal coaters, they know how to stripe. Both teams know how to do thermoplastic. Both teams know how to pressure wash. Both teams know how to stripe hog. We have maybe now we have three teams on each service as far as that goes.
Yeah.
And then, our asphalt concrete, they're cross-trained too. I mean, we have them doing asphalt, concrete repair, and then whenever, something's slow or something if they're just slow one week, then you know what? We got crack seal. They're cross-training crack seal and seal coat. So no matter what, our guys are shifting. It's a nonstop shift for our guys. The rotation is nonstop, which they love it because they get, they get not only the hours, but they get the experience, and they get the experience on a different craft.
How's that for scheduling? Because, some is at night, with striping is predominantly at night, if I understand correctly, for most of it. And then paving is usually, do you do that at night, or do you do that during the day mostly?
Whenever we're needed. But it's mostly during the day. But it's whenever we're needed. Yeah. Striping, we keep it at night. Seal coat, we keep in the daytime because of the sun.
Yeah.
However, striping, thermoplastic, power washing, high pressure blasting, yeah, we keep all that at night. It's just not worth the liability. We've learned that it's the liability overpowers the efficiency of being in the daytime.
What liability? Because my understanding was that it was just kind of for, keeping people out of the way. Is that what you mean by liability?
Oh, safety. Dealing with the crazy people, man.
Yeah.
Dealing with the crazy people at night. Oh yeah, you have dealing with the crazy people in the daytime. I'm sorry. In the daytime, you come across more people that have complaints, that are willing to complain, that's willing to, just go above and beyond to reach the owner of the property, wherever you're at. When you're at night, when you're working at night, you're by yourself. You're by yourself. You have a mission, and you know what? If the mission doesn't go right, we'll hear about it the next morning. We'll fix it that next night.
Yeah.
It's just the safety, the efficiency, and just being left alone.
Kind of calm.
Be totally honest, being left alone, man.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, wow. I think we could go through stories here for a long while here. I do want to respect your time, though. This has been really fun, and I think we should do this again. Certainly to talk more about kombucha, right, and how that journey goes for you.
Toast to you, man. Toast to you, brother.
Cheers.
Cheers.
But this has been an honor. It's been really cool to watch you. I know there's so many different facets we could cover in future and subsequent interviews. You're involved in a lot of the training stuff for the asphalt sphere, I guess. I saw your post recently with where you were at World of Asphalt there a few years ago. I see you popping in and dropping knowledge bombs here and there. But if we could sum up, your
We're
business.
The laser guys of the South, man. Laser guys of the South. We're the laser guys of the South.
Exactly. But in in respect of your time, I'll wrap up here with, in your business and personal journey, what would be the one or two things that you would leave with people that you would do differently or do the same?
I probably, I would have a mentor at a younger age. Take up mentors. Surround yourself with people that are like-minded. Never give up on the dream, even if it sounds just absolutely crazy. Never give up on yourself. It really comes down to it. And honestly, through my personal journey, that's the one thing that I can say that I'm very happy of my young self, that I never gave up.
I love that.
Because at the end of the day, this life is about patience and time. You have to know and be aware of that. With patience comes greatness. You just have to wait just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Everybody wants
Other than that, rock out your striper out, man.
I love it. Everybody wants to harvest before they seed, right? So that's a
Absolutely.
challenge. Mark, this has been a blast. I can think of so many things we could have covered, but I enjoyed every moment of this. So there's going to be a repeat episode down the line. I can already tell. But any final thoughts you want to say? I appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your day. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Thank you again, Lewis, for having me on. And like I said, no matter what people say, no matter what vibes you get in life, follow that heart, follow that true conscience, because that's your true self telling you which route to take.
Boom. I can't top that. Guys, go follow Mark, see what he's doing on Instagram, Facebook, follow their journey. Mark, I'm gonna end the live here, but we'll just wrap up here. Oh, Captainstriper came back to bid us adieu. I love it. Well, Mark, it's been a pleasure. I'll end the live here, and then we'll just wrap up off air quickly before we head off.
Excellent. Sounds good.
Appreciate you.